Welcome in, everybody, to a special edition of the DGD podcast. Got some huge news. Obviously, I'm sure most of y'all already know, but Rara Thomas has committed to Georgia. We're going to talk about that a little bit. 2:30, we're going to kind of see where Jordan Big Baby Hall, four-star defensive lineman out of Florida, will he commit to Georgia? Will he commit to Florida? That's the question. We're about to find out here. Now, for copyright reasons, I'm not going to sit here and live stream it on this show, but we will discuss and see. We will wait his announcement, and then we'll discuss that. But let's do this. If I don't see a lot of rah-rahs, hashtag rah-rahs in the chat right now, I don't think you're Georgia fans. Just going to leave that there because that is a huge commitment, folks, out of receiver out of Mississippi State. For those that aren't familiar with it, I'm telling you right now, that is your ex receiver. That's your ex receiver right there. Um, Big body. Terry has a comment. Where can you stream the Jordan Hall commitment? I think he is doing it on the 24/7 Sports YouTube. Um, I think they're doing a live stream there, so you can watch that there. Definitely just wanted to pop on and do a special edition because listen, early signing day continues, folks. If you missed out yesterday, you can obviously go back to our YouTube channel and watch that. Um, I think it'll be interesting to see. Eric Johnson, 1994, hashtag rah-rah. Yeah, listen, the dogs are on fire, folks, right? The dogs are on fire. Uh, you know, but I want to talk more about Rara because I hope that people understand just how important this commitment is. From a receiver standpoint, Georgia has somewhat lacked a true X receiver when A.D. Mitchell went out. Right. With that being said, when you look at what the potential for Rara is, it makes the 6'2" bodies, right? That right there is what's so key, right? We saw what he did, and Pat here says that is huge, and you're not wrong. It really is. Barbara Nolan, welcome. First off, everybody tuning in, welcome to the brigade. All right. If you don't know what the brigade is, it's just our chat, all inclusive. Barbara Nolan says, I was loving it when Rara said, yes, what an addition to the dogs. Absolutely, right? Absolutely. So I want to get y'all's thoughts, right? In the comments, let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about this Rara commitment. I'm ecstatic because I know we saw what he did. We played him this year. He's a productive receiver, right? And now you put him in a situation with Todd Monken in running this offense. That right there should have dog fans licking their chops because it had mine is. I'm licking my chops. So Duran Willis, his stats are crazy. Yeah, he comes from an air raid offense. It's going to be interesting to see. I think Kirby Smart and Coach B McClendon, I think they know exactly the process for what they want out of Rara. Obviously, we know receivers, right? Receivers. Yeah, I just think that you're going to make sure that he can block, right? Because that's just something. That is just to me something that you have to do as a receiver at Georgia. You're just not going to get away from that. But we have a receiver now that's currently just committed that can go up, stretch the field, and catch 50-50 balls, right? And make plays, right, on the outside. I don't know if y'all have noticed this, but we did a lot of bunch concepts, right? With that being said, now you can spread out a little bit more, right? You can do a 3-and-1 on the opposite side and have faith in him. And I think that's huge. Duran Willis asks, is he going to start? Yeah, I think so. There's no reason not to. You go to the portal. Kirby Smart's willingness to go to the portal and his really hesitancy to do that. He's not going to just get somebody for a body. He's going to get an impact player that he thinks can come in and contribute right away. And Rara Thomas can do just that. He can do just that, right? With that being said, also, now you look at what Georgia can do in the portal as well. I think love it, right? I think Lovett from Missouri now is your next target to see if you can get him into the portal or from the portal to Georgia. I think if you can do that, I think Georgia's in a good spot there. I do. Obviously, we talked about early signing day. Everybody signed when they signed. Obviously, we're waiting Jordan Hall's commitment, so we will see if he commits to Georgia or goes somewhere else. But also, for those that like the crystal balls, there was a five-star tight end in this class that got crystal balled last night. If you're one of those believers, Deuce Robinson. Deuce Robinson got crystal balled. I want to see it happen before I, believe in the crystal balls too much. But I mean, at the same time, like now you have to sit there and start looking at this tight end haul, right? If you bring in Deuce Robinson on top of Pierce Spurlin, on top of uh, Lawson Lucky, you're set. You're absolutely set, right? Obviously, y'all probably, everybody here probably knows that Rick Gilbert entered the portal yesterday. So ultimately, right now you've got opening, slots opening up. You'll have the depth, and obviously tight ends are going to get utilized here, 100%, 100%. But also, so I want to get y'all's thoughts on early signing day, right? Did y'all think? Did you think that Georgia had an excellent day? Did you think it was boring? I want to hear your comments. I want to hear your thoughts on that. We'll read some. Uh, Definitely think it's worthwhile because I have a theory to this. Right? You see Oregon, right? You see Oregon taking everybody, right? They raided like the old Vikings of the in the past, right? Just raiding everybody, picking off two flips from Notre Dame, right? Signing Mateo, signing Peyton Bowen. Well, we'll see what happens there if he actually commits. But you have that right there. But then you also got the person that ends up on the opposite side of that, right? Like a Notre Dame. Um, Georgia, we just quietly signed everybody, right? Like we signed everybody. You get Daniel Harris back in the fold. You get Damon Wilson, which huge, absolutely huge for our edge depth position. I mean, our edge position, the depth. You look at what we brought in last cycle, and you put it on. You put it on top of this. It's just stupid, folks. It really is. Barbara Nolan. Ooh. Barbara Nolan says ESD went well, but expected. Think Frank and Co. already knew on the Peach Bowl. Uh, yeah, on to the Peach Bowl, absolutely. Listen, we've talked about this. You have you beat Ohio State out for Damon Wilson, and now you go and play in Atlanta and you know beat them for a chance to go to back to the national title. So it's very interesting there. Black Adonis, the bane of my existence. I feel we had an expected good day. Wanted one of those huge flips, and you know what though? To your point, yeah, I think everybody wants those flips because it seems to be that Kirby's kind of done that, right? I think when we look at what Kirby's done in the past, right? George Pickens comes to mind immediately. And then you've also had right several flips in the past. You look at now. Keep in mind, you did get a flip ultimately, Kyron Jones, but it's not your high profile. It's not as high profile as people think. But I'm telling you right now, the kid's a damn good player, and he is fast, folks. He is extremely, extremely fast. So you trust Kirby on this. I trust him. Listen, up here in Charlotte Christian, right? Up here out of Charlotte Christian, yeah. I'm just gonna leave that there. But overall, listen, North Carolina was good to people, man. Like it was just good. It was just good. Right? It was just good yesterday, right? As Pat here says, in Ja we trust. Taj Jamal, yeah, yeah. Kid's huge, man. Six, yeah, every bit of 6'6" and over 350, over 350. I can personally confirm that he is over 350. Seen him in person, watched him play in person, practice. I know. Teo, welcome in. It looks like we got our Bama fan in here. I know you're excited to see if he goes to Alabama. Since we're talking on Alabama for just a second, there's a good chance Alabama can get Desmond Ricks, folks. And if that happens, you're looking at 7 5 stars for Alabama this cycle. There's no chance. No, Daniel Hall is the state of North Carolina. Excuse me. In regards to though, like seven, there's no chance that Georgia or anybody will even remotely come close to the overall right number 1 spot here. Uh, However, listen, they got a good class. David Green, go Gators. So we got Florida folks in here. So obviously, we're in the mix. Listen, obviously, the main topic for today's show and the main purpose, Jordan Hall, right? You're looking at Jordan Hall, like I said, 4-star D lineman out of Florida, looking between Georgia, Florida, Bama, and LSU. And, at the same time, I think all these teams could use him because the kid is just a ball player and he is extremely, 300 pounds, right? 300 pounds, and he's agile. He's mobile. Right? He's athletic to be that weight. So I know from a Georgia perspective, it's ideal. Florida desperately could use Jordan Hall. After yesterday, I felt like Florida underwhelmed in the early signing day yesterday. Listen, if he were to commit to, right, if he was to commit to Florida, I'm sure that would be the highlight of early signing day. Period. For the Gators. But if you bring on Bama, it's just another body, and they look at the class, right? You look no further than what they've done in the 23 cycle for Alabama, and you add that to Quay Russaw, James Smith, stupid. Stupid. I am not going to show him signing. I'm not going to try to get copyrighted, but we will make the announcement whenever we find out, and then we will discuss further. Definitely not trying to get copyrighted here, folks. So, but we will definitely make the announcement here when we see it, and just kind of talk about what's going on with it. Right? I think all these classes, right, every team that's involved, I think could actually utilize this guy because I think he's going to be an NFL player. He's going to be an NFL player. Give him a couple years wherever system he goes, and it's just going to be one of those things where you've got yourself a bona fide dog in the in that D on that D line. Just that simple to me. Pat also brings up a good point, folks. If you're here, there's tons of people here. Make sure to like and subscribe. It's free, and it helps us out a ton. If you also see the show is brought to you by our friends over at Apotheos. Apotheos Roastery is a Kennesaw-based coffee company that is the official partner of the Classic City Collective, the Georgia Bulldogs collective there. Whenever you use our link, the link is in the show description. Whenever you use that link, you can buy any blend of coffee that they offer, and they will donate 20% of that bag per bag to the Classic City Collective. So check them out check out Apotheos. Shout out Apotheos. Excuse me. Richard Pollard, go Dogs. Absolutely, sir, go Dogs. So while we wait here, it is about 2:30, so we're definitely going to keep an eye out for this announcement. Let's see. Let's do a roll call. How many? Adonis, stop. You ain't gonna roast me. Not your coffee. Stop playing. But ultimately, though, right? You look at what Georgia did early signing day, and excuse me. I just think it's going to be interesting to see wherever Jordan commits because, like I said, the kid is an excellent ball player. There's no question about it. And wherever he goes, the team's going to be ecstatic about it. Donna's got that hot blend. Yeah. We'll leave it at that. Alex asks, "Is the high school streaming?" I'm not sure. I thought it was 24/7, so I might be wrong. We'll see. I don't know. Or how we find it. So Alec, we will find out when he makes the announcement. I will make the announcement to the show, everybody watching, and then we'll discuss it. Right? We'll just discuss. Obviously, we'll make the announcement where he commits and go from there. As we see, we've got some Gators coming in the chat. Hey, listen, I don't like those Gainesville Gators down there, but hey, welcome into the brigade. Welcome to the brigade. Dan Wood, I ain't gonna make that comment. I'm trying to play it pretty today. I'm just playing pretty today. Listen, I think ultimately, right? Yeah. So Black Adonis did say that 24/7 took their live stream video down. Curious to see what that means. Really, don't really know what that means. But we'll keep an eye out for it and see what happens from there. Um, let me see. Just keep an eye out for it. You value viewers. Oh, no doubt. Someone says the Gators offered the bag. Listen, I mean NIL is a factor, but that's just something you got to get used to. I'll make my prediction. I think he goes to Georgia. Just my thought. We'll see though, right? That's why we're here. We'll all see together in reality. We'll just see what happens. Let me know in the comments, folks, where you think he's going to go. Let's make our predictions before the actual announcement. Let's get those flowing in the chat. Let's see. I'll kind of keep an eye out for it and see if we can find that 24/7 to watch the thing and go from there. Kind of a watch party going on right now as we see some dogs flowing, some Alabamas flowing. Got the Tide coming in. Uh-oh. The kid has a ridiculous motor too. So Jordan Arthur throwing out the LSU. Wow. Okay. Um, Pat, I don't think they're ready for that. Pat says, here we go. So Pat says that Florida fans, you would love our cocktail party episodes. We love y'all. Sure, if that's what you call it. Yeah. All right. Chase Campbell, Gators fan here. Unfortunately, UGA offered a bag. Listen, I did think the way I look at it too, though, is Georgia has a lot to offer in regards to development, right? You look at the production. Hell, just this past draft, you have Devontae Wyatt, you have Jordan Davis, right, and Trayvon Walker. Now Trayvon's more of an edge guy, but at the same time, you have Devontae and Jordan Davis in the first round. So that's two first round. So the draft pedigree, Trey Scott being the D line coach, I think helps a ton as well. But I'm just telling you now, from Georgia, from a Georgia perspective, just the thought of pairing Jordan Hall and Jamal Jarrett together on the interior of that defensive line is just downright scary. It's just scary, right? At least from my perspective, right? Let's see. UF NIL came in higher actually, but UF is an absolute dumpster fire behind the scenes. I don't necessarily know, but I mean, it just doesn't look good. I mean, the optics, right? Optics are key there too. Like, let's be honest there. On optics from a program can mean a lot. It really does. So Jordan will look great with all these big time studs we got on defense coming in next to Jamal. Yeah, dude. First, you get Jamal. Jamal is basically your Jordan Davis replacement. And watching him personally, watching him at Grimsley personally, yeah, I can 100% vouch for how his gameplay fits into what Georgia wants him to do here. He is ready for it, folks. And now you're putting him in a world class strength and conditioning program for Jamal. Yeah, no doubt, absolutely. Kid's going to be a stud, just stud. But no, I mean, Jordan Hall has that potential, right? Uh, it's just the way that goes. Oh, let's see. He might be doing on his Twitter. Bear with me. Let me get to it. He's got a live stream. All right, let me see here. Jordan Hall. All right, folks. All right. Looks like might have some news there. Might have some news. All right. And it seems like Jordan Hall has committed to Georgia. Jordan Hall has committed to Georgia. Excuse me. Georgia gets the commitment from Jordan Hall. With that being said, now you look at what Georgia has to offer, right, on that offensive, on that defensive line, bringing in Jordan Hall into the fold. Dude, I'm telling you right now, Pat says he's wore the More Than Sports big hat. Shout out to More Than Sports, knowing him a little bit, dealt with him. So Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. I secretly love that damn big hat. I really do. I love it. I absolutely love it. As Pat says, commit to the G. Listen, obviously, listen. Just because he committed to Georgia, I am not running any fan base off. So do not get that twisted. Uh, but we will talk about what this means for Georgia, and honestly, what it could mean for Florida. Right? Like you could look at all these other schools. Florida could have used Jordan Hall. They needed him bad. They needed him bad. So the fact that Florida did not get him, I think you have to look from if you're Florida, you have to go to the portal. Because let's be honest, signing day was yesterday, not early signing day, but almost official. What you're doing now is you're cleaning up scraps. So Pat knows Nick Radasta over at More Than Sports. He's a goat of autographed merchandise and memorabilia. Okay, awesome to know. Um, but yeah, so with that being said, Georgia fans, first off, get a Go Dogs. Let's get a Go Dogs in the chat because that tweet, that Kirby Smart tweet, is coming, folks. You know this, and I know it too, and I can't wait to see it. But with that being said, what exactly does this mean for Georgia? Because now you look at, like I said, we've talked about right what Jamal can do. We talked about that yesterday, but now you pair officially Jordan Hall alongside him, and my goodness, folks. Pair that with the edge rushers that we got from the past two classes, folks. Shit ain't real. It's not fair. It's not fair how insane that is. Colby, he did commit to Georgia. Yes, he is committed to Georgia. Uh, can Florida even get anybody? Absolutely, they can. I just honestly think production matters, man. On field production matters too. Georgia's using this model of NFL over NIL, and it's working brilliantly. Because you look at these schools that are throwing massive amounts, and listen, to each their own. But Georgia values that NFL contract over NIL contract. I promise you that. Promise you that. Florida gets top three. Nobody chooses them. Todd Ray says Alabama got the best class. Oh, no doubt. Todd, nobody's questioning Alabama in regards from a ranking standpoint, the best class. No, you can't argue that. There's no question. I don't care if you got everybody from the portal or not. It doesn't matter. Y'all, Alabama loaded up with some dogs. Like there's no question about it. Especially the ones that Georgia missed out on. Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs is going to be the best player for Alabama in that class. Period. Mark it down. Kid's a fucking animal. It's that simple. Um, so yeah, nobody's going to question your comment, Todd, about having the best class this year. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt about that. Colby, yes, right before we went live, Rara Thomas, the Mississippi State receiver, committed to Georgia. So it's a good hour, folks. It's a. I saw the comment earlier. It's great to be a Georgia Bulldog. No fucking doubt. No doubt about that. You get a portal receiver that and honestly we needed that so bad. But now you got Jordan Hall in this 23 class, right? And now you look forward to February. I think, like I said, now you moving forward, you also look for, Deuce Robinson potentially. Could you get him, or could you get Walker Lyons? Right? You could get Walker Lyons as well. I think Todd Hartley will get three tight ends because there are three legit tight ends. So looking at it, I definitely think that that's something that you can keep in mind. Todd Hartley, if you pick up three tight ends and if you get one of the two remaining, prepare yourself because your house is about to have the Brinks truck backed up to it. Just going to let that out there. Just going to let that out there. Colby says, sorry, excuse me. The ATM had the best class this year. That worked out fabulously. Yeah. Now, to your point, though, Alabama is in no way, I'm not comparing nothing between Bama and A&M. No, sir. Can't do that. Can't do that. I just don't trust Jimbo as a head coach. I cannot trust him as a head coach. I can trust Nick Saban. Now, the question for Bama is what they do with their coordinators, but that's neither here nor there. But you got the loaded class. Now, obviously, I think Bama has a better shot to make shit work than A&M, right? But if you're Georgia, listen, we're going to talk about it, Georgia, folks. We just got Jordan Hall, right? We just got Jordan Hall. Just got Jordan Hall. make sure, hey, if you like what you just heard, make sure to like, subscribe, right? Colby says he subbed yesterday during our early signing day show, but did not hit the bell. Shame on me. It could have been here for the past 30 minutes. Hey, that's another thing. It's all free. Ring the bell, right? We're Georgia fans. Ring the bell. Ring the bell. It gets you notified when we go live. So yeah, Pat says. So Pat says, "Hell no, Bama's like your yeah, no doubt, absolutely." Um, Barbara Nolan says lean towards Deuce. Yeah, dude, you bring Deuce Robinson in, right? You bring Deuce Robinson on top of Pierce and Lawson, and that's just stupid. The key though is finding one of those guys to try to. I ain't gonna say fully because you can't. Try to replace Darnell because I think he goes. Now, if he comes back, oh my God, let's just be real with ourselves. I just think he's gone to the NFL. But now you have to look at the blocking aspect of the tight end. I um, don't necessarily know if you're initially going to have that blocking prowess of Darnell Washington. You have to get these guys get them blocking. But I don't see that being too big of an issue, if you will. That's just my thoughts on that. Let me see. So I think Coach Deriba says Wolfpack Gabe Dim. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in just a second too. Um, Colby asked, "What position is Jordan on?" He is a D line. I expect him to play similar to Devontae, like a three tech. And in regards to the ranking, I think he's like he's in the 70s. He's a top seven. I think he's a top 75. I know top 80 player according to 24/7 Sports Composite. So again, you got yourself a dog, folks. You got yourself a dog. And if you go watch his tape, you'll understand what I mean. Because it's just fun to see his his motor, his athleticism, his mobility, right? All these things, all these traits and all these things that D line you need, right, to be effective. He's got it. And now you bring him into a defense with Trey Scott that can develop him even more. Even more. And like I said, you pair him with Jamal Jarrett. And when you do that, then I think you look at just a downright scary class. There's a reason why Georgia's number two in the recruiting rankings, right? There's a reason for that because you got some animals, folks. We have got some animals in this 23 class. Honestly, I think defensively, this could be the best defensive class I've ever seen Georgia have under Kirby Smart. I think that's the best class that Kirby Smart's ever recruited defensively, and potentially even on offense as well. Because if you're not familiar and you don't know these folks like you probably should, but it's okay. Watch out for Yazid Haynes. Watch out for him. Lightning bolt, folks. We got so much speed. We got extremely faster yesterday with all these signings. All these signings, you got extremely faster. There's no question about that. But to Barbara's point talks about Coach Deribe saying the Wolfpack, Gabe, Sam, and Damon, right? That edge class right there could go down as one of the best in history if everything progresses as it should, especially in Georgia history. I think already ranking so statistically, right, from a rankings perspective, yes, there's no question because when you look at Samuel Mpemba and Damon Wilson, 2 5-star edge rushers, your future at the edge position, which was once a weakness, and even coming into this off season when you lose Robert Bill and you lose Nolan Smith, you just got extremely deep. Now they're going to be young and they're going to be inexperienced, but you throw them out there and you learn. But then you also think about what I just said in regards to those edge rushers. Gabe Harris does not look like a freshman. That kid is jacked. He's ready to go. Damon Wilson, some of the best get off from the ball. Like his get off when you snap the ball is just it's just downright silly. And Samuel Mpemba is so much of a freak. Like it's just gonna be nightmares, folks. Like these tackles in the future should have nightmares looking at this edge class. I'm just saying because then you pair it with Darius Smith. Dude, Darius Smith could be a damn Adam Anderson clone. Just going to leave that there. Kid is ridiculous too, 6'6", right? Crazy to think what's just going on. Now I want to get you. So we've got some folks here. So comment what you think out of this recruiting class. What position group was your best, or what was the best position group haul in this 2023 class for Georgia? Is it the tight ends? Is it the linebackers? Is it the edge rushing receivers? Right. I just want to get y'all's thoughts to see where everybody's heads are when it comes to this, because in my opinion, I think you got extremely deep all around. Right. The problem is people I think still might look at what could have been in this class. Right. And you look at the three misses on the big three. Right. Justice Haynes, Caleb Downs, Arch Manning. But at the end of the day, I just think that when you look at the talent that you've got in this 23 class, obviously we have to look at what Nick Saban's done and give them credit for that. But when you look at the D line, right, like actually the defensive back room, excuse me, the defensive back room, you just got some bona fide studs at safety, Jonel Aguero, right, Jonel Aguero. More than likely, I wouldn't be surprised to see Smoke Bowie come in this class from the portal. So that's something you might want to keep an eye out for as well. Um, things are looking like Georgia will not miss a beat. They just won't. And obviously, as Georgia fans, we understand why, right? Because you stack class after class after class of talent like this. There's a reason why, as everybody thought coming into the season, you lose 15 players to the draft, you can't possibly, you're going to lose some, you're going to regress. We called it a little bit of a regression, right? But did anyone think that you were only going to be a point on average per game of regression? Is that a regression? Just waiting for that. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. Black Adonis, hot take. We might need a QB from the portal. Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately you can. Just depends on the timing of it, really. It just depends on the timing, if you will. Matthew Woroniecki, excuse me. Low key, the DB room got serious, no doubt, absolutely. I mean, first you look at AJ Harris. Started off AJ Harris. AJ Harris is the X factor in that DB room. But then you got safety help with Jonel Aguero, right? You got Jonel. You got Chris Pill. I think underrated a little bit. Slightly underrated there. He's rated 176, but he's not a name like an AJ Harris, right? Kid can fucking ball, folks. Kid can ball, okay? You look at, Justin Rhett. I think Justin Rhett I feel like some Georgia fans probably forgot he was even in the class. He's just that quiet about it. It was just weird. But so you got Justin Rhett. That's a big body. That's basically 6'2", 200 almost. And you'll expect him to play safety as well. Todd Ray, Georgia going to have a nasty D line, I see at least. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, you look at the front four, Todd. Like I said, we talked about, obviously, now that Jordan Hall has announced his commitment to Georgia, we can officially discuss this, right? Obviously, everything else was hypothetical prior to. But now you've got, Jordan Hall. You've got Jamal Jarrett, right? Those are your interior, and they should be set. Then you sit there, you look at, obviously the edge, right? You like I said, we've got Samuel Mpemba. You've got Damian Wilson. Damian Wilson, I'm going to make a take right now, and somebody clip this if you want, but Damian Wilson as a freshman will have significant, impactful reps and will be an impact player potentially as a freshman. He can just walk out there and probably just give any tackle fits. Kid is just ridiculous. Ridiculous. Just watch his highlight tape. First play he does, he gets off the ball so fast, Damian Wilson does. Leaves the left tackle just in his stance. He's already by him, basically, by the time he gets out of his stance. That's just ridiculous get off, man. And the motor and the pursuit, you just add all those things up, right? Like you have the high motor, but we all look at the rankings, right? We always look at these rankings and the stars. A lot of these guys have extremely great character. I can speak on Jamal Jarrett personally. The kid is The kid is amazing when it comes from a character standpoint. Humble, gets to work, just keeps his head down, goes to work. Leader of that Grimsley team. He's a vote. He's not the leader because Grimsley's got some dogs on that team. Georgia, if you're not familiar with this, 2025. Now he's not. He's a sophomore right now, so we're going to break in this. 2025 edge D line guy, edge rusher, Bryce Davis, teammate of Jamal. Keep an eye out for that. He got a Georgia offer. That's his fourth offer. First year playing varsity. Holy shit! Had basically about 100 tackles by himself. 12 sacks. I want to say like 27, almost 30 tackles for losses. Yeah, like as a sophomore. Oh yeah, basically lost in the state title game. So nothing to hold, nothing to put your head down about that. But when it comes to Jamal, dude, Jamal, funny, extremely funny. Trust me, extremely funny. Um, but at the same time, when he turns the switch, he turns the switch. So when you need him to, and when you need a play, he can go make it. He can go make it. And one of the things that's scary as shit about this, what Grimsley does, right, terrifying. Jamal at a 4 eye, and Bryce Davis at like a one technique. So they flipped them, and you could just kind of see the tackle and the guard just like what the hell, right? It just created so much chaos, right? But Grimsley has done that even last year when they had Travis Shaw, the 5-star UNC freshman now. Um, they were willing to put Travis played on the edge. Travis played on the edge. Travis Shaw played on the edge. Jamal was holding it down in the middle too. So obviously Jamal was a junior, but Todd Ray says, "Where do you rank in the top recruit, or where you rank in top recruiting? Doesn't mean nothing if you don't know how to use them." And Kirby knows how to use the talent he has. I'm gonna put that up for that. That's something right there that somebody needs to take a screenshot of, because that is 100% accurate. 100% accurate. And look no further than the folks at College Station, Texas, folks. It's that simple. Number one class by a landslide, best class in history. And now most of those kids are gone because you didn't even make a bowl game. Not my team. Sorry, guys. Not my team. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. As I sip my Dr. Pepper. Delicious stuff. No advertisement there. Um, Pat calling me out, saying, holding it down. I'm telling you right now. Yeah. So if you're not familiar and you're new to this, you might not know that we have some co-hosts, two former Georgia players, Juan Daniels, Kobe Pierce. Give a shout out to these guys. Timing of this, man. Timing of this was kind of hard for people, kind of last minute thing, but I wanted to make sure that we had an outlet to talk about what this meant for this Georgia program, pending the announcement, and now you get that. But the icing on the cake, chef's kiss, folks. Rara Thomas falling in our laps as well, right before the show. So the timing was perfect. Can't be mad about that. Um, so let's see if there. So let's do this. So we've talked about Jamal and everything like that. Black Adonis says, "Hit the portal faster than that sip of Dr. Pepper." Bro, you ain't lying. Let me do that again. Show you. Hold on, hit it 2 times. Ooh, there we go. Absolutely, Adonis. Absolutely. Yeah. No, they. Yeah. That. Listen. We saw. And Todd's point, I really think that's worth talking about too, because everybody just assumes, right? Everybody makes these assumptions that they're going to be just these world beaters, right? But the problem with A&M, you bring in all these freshmen, and then you sit here and you're basically praying that they all come out and just dominate, and you're relying too much on those true freshmen, and it just creates problems. But we all know that Jimbo just runs an ancient, like Jurassic style offense, and it hasn't evolved. Like we kind of know, right? Like Connor Weigman looked excellent against LSU, but it don't matter when you're off. Like I don't trust it. I just don't. And then you sit there, the culture, right? Culture. People don't. I think people underlook the value of a culture of a program. I really do. Because you look at Alabama, you look at Georgia, right? Sustained culture, right? It doesn't really change since Kirby Smart's gotten here. It's been all business. You've seen the culture, and you haven't seen a blip in the line in regards to the culture, right? It's just, to me, it's that simple. And I feel like recruits resonate towards that because it's a sustained, it's a constant culture, if you will. Yeah, it's a constant culture, and that it just makes for more, you know, a better environment for the athletes themselves. Yeah, Pat says hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. Always good content. Thank you, sir, for that. Um, I think we've talked enough about that. Let's see. Now that we've we've seen Jordan Hall in this class, what from a Georgia perspective, what do we need in this class now? Let me know in the comments here. Let me know what you think. I think Deuce Robinson will be an excellent pickup if you get him. If you can get him, I do think that would be an excellent pickup there. Um, and while people comment what they want in this class from this class, whether it be the portal too, you can add in the portal if you need. Read another comment here. Let's see. So Todd says, I guarantee half the class Alabama recruits will probably transfer at the end of next season because they want to get much playing time. Well, this is, how can I explain it? I wouldn't necessarily say they transfer like that, but with the nature of the beast of that is college football right now, there is that good chance. I don't expect to see most of it. I just don't. Um, I think those freshmen are going to come in and compete. Um, and get some playing time. I do, because when you look at what Alabama could potentially lose, right? You're losing Will Anderson. You're going to lose Bryce Young. Bama got two quarterbacks, Holstein and what's his name? Oh, damn, I forgot the other kid's name. It's out of Georgia, out of the state of Georgia. Um, it'll come to me. I'll bring it up. But they get two quarterbacks per situation because next year you're looking at you got Ty Simpson and you got Jalen Milroe. Just gonna leave that there. The Joker says, "Did Jordan Hall announce?" Absolutely, he is a Georgia Bulldog. So drop that "go dog" in the chat, Joker. Ah ha ha, he ha ha. Yeah, sorry, I had to do it. Um, but nonetheless, right? Like Adonis mentioned, quarterback for Georgia, right? I think the question there is, the timing of things. Because if I'm not mistaken, the portal kids have the until the 15th, January 15th, to be out of the portal for obviously prepping for next semester. So the kids, the athletes that we're seeing in the portal now, right? There's a window, right? So does Georgia lose a quarterback in that point in time? I doubt it. But do you think Georgia could behind the scenes see what they get out of the portal? Possibly. Maybe but I think that's a foreshadowing of what's to come. I mean, I'm not going to put a kid in the portal, but there's a good chance that you might see a quarterback leave right after the spring game, I would assume. Just, I genuinely think that, the spring practices, right? The spring practices, you're going to see a true competition. I think Beck will be the guy. But you know how it is. Spring practice is the one time where you actually get even reps, right? Leading up to G Day and everything like that. Yeah, JOGG saying this is the best podcast. Thank you for the support there. Todd Ray definitely need tight ends. People look at obviously Darnell leaving, but they don't remember Brett Scyther, Riley, and Godey leave. I think they're leaving, right? So everybody wants to think Darnell leaving, but you're actually about to lose three. So it kind of makes sense, if you will. John 3:16, not to be mistaken with Austin 3:16. Yeah, exactly. I went there. Safety or cornerback. Well, you look at, so you talk about the safety, you look at cornerback. Right? I think you look at Smoke Bowie, right? Smoke Bowie could come in. Now, whether he play, what they want to play with, move him around with, maybe he comes in and plays a star, right? Because he's a freaky athlete. If y'all remember him coming out of high school, freaky athlete. The thing I think is, you're losing Chris Smith, You're losing. Well, I think Dan Jackson will be back if I'm not mistaken. But so you'll have Dan Jackson. But you look at some of these cornerbacks, right? And you could see some of these guys maybe move around, right? I think you'll see during the all season, you'll see where Kirby and Coach Muschamp and everything might maneuver some guys around, make some changes to see where these guys fit in. You might see that. I don't know, but I think it'll be interesting to see because you've got a ton of bodies playing cornerback potentially, right? You got a ton of cornerbacks, and not a lot of people can hit the field at one time. So, you got Kamari Lassiter, I think, moving into next year, right? We're not going to get too far ahead of ourselves, but you would assume that, Kamari will be the guy next year. But who's going to be outside of him? Is it going to be Dalen Everett? Dalen Everett shined a little bit. Is it going to be Jaheim Singletary? Is it going to be Nyland Green? There's so many names. So between seasons, if you will, you're going to find a lot about it. A lot you will find out. But also keep in mind you're going to lose some people after this playoff run. Okay, expect that. It should be expected with where we are in our as a program. It's just the nature of the beast. You're going to have kids. You're going to have those guys that leave the program. Right? I'm not going to say who because I don't know. I'm not going to sit there and put somebody in the portal. But you have that possibility of more than likely that. Well, let's just say more than likely, no, it's going to happen. You're going to lose some folks. You will. But that's why you recruit class after class after class the way you do. Because then you sit there, you just replace bodies. And ultimately, you look at a situation where the best will stick around. And when you do that, that's how you maintain success. That just my thought there. But yeah, Horns. Adonis says Hornsby packages or McCall. I completely agree. I think that would be interesting. I think McCall would be interesting based off of what you look at, what Monken likes to do from a quarterback perspective, right? I think he values a little bit of athleticism in his quarterbacks. Yeah, obviously Malik Hornsby is, but you also want to be careful, and you want to be able to make sure you can throw the ball too. I think McCall would be better fit if Georgia were to look for a quarterback, but I could honestly see Hornsby being a very interesting possibility. You just got to know what you're doing with him, right? And I think you just trust Todd Monken on his evaluation, what he wants his quarterback to look like. If you go after a quarterback, Um, Pat says he loves seeing all the new folks in here, dogs or not. He loves it. Hey, listen, thank you everybody for tuning in. And as we talk to the announcement, and obviously the commit for Rara Thomas, and kind of quickly recapping right yesterday how early signing day has come and gone, what feels like. So thank you everybody for coming in, liking, subscribing, things like that. And if you haven't, hey, hit the like button, hit the ring the bell, right? Maybe you like the content. I don't know. We just do it, and hopefully, it's like throwing spaghetti at the wall. You hope it sticks. Find out if it's good or not. Uh, but nonetheless, right? Like, obviously Georgia lands a commitment from four-star defensive lineman Jordan Hall. Right prior to that, you get receiver from Mississippi State, Rara Thomas. You had an excellent signing day. There could be more to come. We'll see. We're going to wrap this thing up and let everybody go about their Thursday as we head into the holiday stretch here. Quickly, Monday typically are part of our schedule. We typically go Mondays and Wednesdays. Monday we will not have a show. We will not have a show. Deal with the holidays, things like that. Just don't want to push it. We will be back Wednesday, full gear, prepping for the Peach Bowl. You know what it is. If you're a dog fan, the time has come. There's no running anymore. You can't cancel this series because it's a playoff game. Can't do it. Read a couple comments before we head off. Todd Ray, Georgia got Vandergriff and Carson Beckett, another quarterback. Yeah, you're talking about Gunnar Stockton. Yeah, no, Georgia's deep, but I think at the end of the day, you have to be careful because one of those could leave, Todd. And you have to be careful with that, try to manage the quarterback situation. You have to be looking ahead, playing chess, not checkers, especially with the quarterback room. Or when you've got 4 stars and 5 stars like that, it gets dicey, right? It just does because you don't want three egos don't want to sit on the bench. Black Adonis says, I agree. I think the one thing we have missed on in our offense for years, truly elusive quarterback. Obviously dropped the ball with Fields. Before that, it was DJ Shockley. Yeah, DJ Shockley Man, oh yeah, DJ Shockley, yes sir. Um, I think I wish Justin Fields would have went through college 3 years later, because if he would have came in under Munkin, it would have been an entirely different situation, Adonis. I just think when I was surprised when Fields committed in general to Georgia, because knowing what we had, it made no sense. Our offense was not built around the style of quarterback that he was. Like, Justin Fields wants to throw the ball, but at the same time, the timing of Jake Fromm as a freshman coming in and leading you, into the title game, and basically, one play away from, winning that said national title. The writing was on the wall that it was going to be extremely difficult to come in as a true freshman and win that job outright. So for me, I was kind of scratching my head a little bit when he committed. Obviously, you're going to take that commitment because he was 1A, 1B with Trevor Lawrence, right? You have to take that. Just, people want to talk about the misutilization and underutilization. Like I said, just those contexts, man, it makes it extremely difficult. But the offensive coordinator wasn't helping out at all either. It really wasn't. Just our offensive scheme was not like if we had Todd Monken back in 2018, 2019, things could be shaped out a whole lot differently for the entire, the entirety of the program, the football program. I just think you have to do that. Yeah, Ryan Burnett says UG had the wrong offensive coordinator. Period. Listen, everybody remembers 2019. James Coley should never have been the offensive coordinator, folks. He was a great recruiter. He just wasn't a damn good offensive coordinator whatsoever. And Texas A&M can take that offensive coordinator or whatever title he's got willingly. All right, if you want to let him be your offensive coordinator or whatever, more power to you. I just know I am in love with what Todd Monken does to this offense, the schematics, right, the personnel usage, right, the whole game plan, right, everything about it. I'm all here for that, right, because you keep adding personnel through recruiting classes, and it's going to make it that much better. It will. It will. With that being said, we got John 316 saying Merry Christmas. Pat, the 6033 DGD, saying Merry Christmas. Glory, glory to all, and go dogs too. All right. With that being said, we're going to wrap this thing up. You landed, right? Georgia lands Rara Thomas out of the portal. Jordan Hall, 4-star D lineman from Florida, out of the state of Florida, excuse me. Let's get this. Let's get the holidays going right. Commit to the G. And go dogs, folks. Go dogs. Make sure to like and subscribe. Go dogs. We'll catch you next time.